Welcome to this webinar session. Before I start the webinar sessions, I'll just give you a quick introduction of who I am and the years of experience that I have in Tekla and what kind of services that I offer to clients. Of course, you all know my name. I'm Sriram Santanam. I'm from India. I started my career working for William Hare India Private Limited as a Tekla training officer. That was in 2008. And I worked there for nearly 6 years. And then I migrated to Australia and started working for Building Point Australia. I have nearly 18 years of experience, and I have trained more than 1,050 engineers in the last 14 to 15 years. So pretty much I'm well versed with Tekla steel detailing, precast detailing, and also rebar. So I used to do training from basic to advanced level. Quit Building Point Australia to start my own company in 2019, but the learning never ends. So I always try to keep myself updated with the latest features whenever the new release comes. I spend at least maybe an hour or two every week to go through some of the new features. That is one of the advantage for me, that I can support my clients and offer consultation to them. That if you have any questions, just type it in the message. I'll try to go through your messages after the webinar, and I'll try to answer 5 to 10 questions because of the time restriction. But what I would do is I'll just take all your questions and then go through after the webinar, and I would answer those questions on LinkedIn. I'm going to start with the important features in Tekla. Of course, you guys must be using filters. Okay, but there are some hidden and potential features. The reason why I have chosen these topics, you use this filter options even in modeling, or maybe in connections, or maybe in drawing. So we use the filter options to select a particular group of members or particular group of objects. And so I have picked up few topics because those topics are quite common. The clients ask me very frequently. Okay. So what I would do is, whenever, see, it's not, I mean, I understand there are only steel members. Some people might be working in precast. So it's, I mean, there is no difference between, I mean, when we use the functions, it's almost the same. So you can also use you can just understand the concept and apply the concept in precast. Okay. Now, let me just open the filter options. Okay, so this is the selection filter, you know that. And so you can open the view filter when you open the view properties. And then you can also open the object representation object filter and drawing filters. Okay. And generally what we do is whenever we select any particular group of objects, we use the filter options. For example, I'm taking the selection filter. You can use any filter. It depends upon your requirement, but I'm going to use the selection filter. The first and foremost thing, let me just click new filter to delete everything. And I add a row here. You can see it comes with some default information. Part name equals, okay, let me just go and select from the model. Select from model. So let me just pick any one of them. Now, when I click apply and then do the cross selection, actually, this filter option selects so many objects in the model. If you take a look at the right bottom, it shows 523 objects. We know that there are not 523 columns in the model. So what we generally do is we tick off this, deactivate everything, and we keep only the part option on. And these four switches are also very important. So we keep this select objects and components. Say, then once I click apply, when I do the cross selection, it shows there are 23 columns in the model. But it's actually quite frustrating everything if I have to tick on and tick off every time when I use the filter option. So generally what I do is I add another row here. So the first row, what I do is I change this category to object, and property is object type. And the next is value, select part. So what exactly happens, the first line, it selects only the part objects. So it will ignore bolt, weld, cuts, whatever the objects are visible in the model. So the first line, which filters it, and the second line, it picks only the columns. So it will actually override your filter settings. Once I click apply, and then when I do the cross selection, you can see now all the switches are selected at the bottom, but it is selecting only the columns. So this is one thing which I use it in every, whenever I use my filter options. If I'm going to select any particular board, my first row will always be object type equals to bolt if I'm going to select the board. So this is very, very important. And actually it is also a time saving, and you don't have to switch on and switch off every time when you use this filter option. Okay, let me just add another row here. Let me select from the model. Okay, this is column. Okay, I don't need this row. Okay, so what happens is whenever if you want to select per line and column, this, I mean, the first row, it's very common row. And the second row, it will be either the per line or column. And one thing what you can do is you can add a bracket here, right? And then once I click apply, if the member part name is per line or column, it will select both the objects. You can see here. So you don't have to create a separate row and adding these brackets. The best thing what you can do is, let me just delete this row. And then I can add multiple entities in a single row. So Perlin, and you can see there is a space and column. So what exactly it happens? This will consider these two members and select the objects in the model. So once I click apply, and then if I do the cross selection, you can see it is selecting these two objects. And another very important thing is whenever you give a name to the objects, if it is a column, or maybe you can type fascia column or this is end column, never give a space between the names, because whenever you give a space between the names, the filter options may not read it. And I mean, you need to add double quotes to make it as a single entity. For example, let me just take any one of this. I'm going to give a name this as roof purling. And you can see there is a space when I give a name here, roof space purling. I don't prefer to use this method. My preference would be if I'm going to give two names, I always separate them with underscore. So otherwise what happens is that, let me just go here. And if I'm not selecting, if I'm just typing the name here, so what happens is that the system will not select this object because it will consider roof as a separate name and Perlin as a separate name. So in this case, what we do is we just add in double quotes. So this is again quite frustrating every time I need to do it. Or otherwise, you can go to this multi-select from model and pick the objects from here. But to avoid all this, always give a name with underscore, separate them with underscore. Okay. And the next one is, do you know that we can also use characters in filter options? Like, let me just open. Okay. So do you know you can also use this characters like question mark or asterisk and open and square brackets to select the objects in the model. Okay, give me a second. Once again. Okay, great. So see, the question mark actually replaces a single character. When I go back to this, if I just add one question mark, it replaces a single character. If I just add two question marks, it replaces two characters. For example, let me just select any one of them, enquire the part. Okay, it's P2 here. That's fine. P25. So let me just change this prefix to, I mean, part position and equals to. Let me select from the model. And if I type one question mark, so what exactly it happens is that it will select all the part position numbers starting with P2 1 to 9, because as I said, the question mark replaces the single character. So if I add two question marks, then it will replace two characters. That means it will select any part position number starting from 10 to 99. So P2 10-10 to P2-99. The system will select all those objects. So it's quite handy. Whenever you start using this question mark, it will actually select the multiple objects. Okay. And if something is not very clear, you feel free to type a message, because it's actually open here so that I can see it, um, while just sharing my tips and tricks here. Okay, so I hope this question mark is clear. So let me just go to the next one. Of course, you know that if I type asterisk, so it replaces n number of characters after P2. So it doesn't matter, if it is P2-1 or P2-100 or P2-1000, that doesn't matter. If the first two letters starts with P2, the system will select everything. Sometimes what we do is, if I want to select all the hollow section members, for example, I can type profile and then I can say, okay, it's a square hollow section. And then if I put star here, so it will select all the square hollow section profiles. It doesn't matter if the sizes are different, sometimes it may be 25 square hollow sections, sometimes it may be 40 and 50. It will select all those objects. Even you can type, if you want to select all the plate profiles, you can type PLT and star. So that means it will select all the plate profiles, right? And the next option is this square brackets. So when I say, like for an example, if I type, I just wanted to select rectangular hollow sections, square hollow sections, and circular hollow sections. In that case, what I can do is I can add open square bracket, and then I can type CRS. These are the first letters of square hollow section, circular hollow section, and rectangular. And then I can type HS, and then I can add star. So what happens is that it will select all the three profiles. The first letter will be replaced by, any one of them. If it starts with C, the system will select, and if it starts with R, or if it starts with S, the first letter can be replaced with any one of them. The same thing, for example, if you want to pick anything part position number, I'll give an idea here. I just type P, 1, 2, and then let me type 3. So what exactly it means, it will select P13 and P23. As I said, anything within the square brackets, the system will automatically read them and then replace them one by one. Okay, is it clear? I mean, is something new? If you want to unmute quickly, or if you have any specific questions about this, feel free to ask me before I move on to the next topic. Okay, great. And so whenever we save these conditions here, for example, let me just take this as, okay, okay, I'll come back to that. Previously, what we used to do, if you want to select any loose plate in the model, we write so many conditions. We use the prefix, and we also use the any user-defined attributes to exclude the loose plates or the side plates from the model. And maybe if we may use the different prefixes for the side plates in the next model, again, we have to create a new filter. But stub, but we have an attribute now. So it doesn't, you don't have to use the prefix. The system, if when you start using that attribute, you can, you can exclude the loose parts, or you can select the loose parts using the filter options. Let me show you how to do it. See, if I want to select the plate, so because there are three types of plates here. One is that loose plate, and you can see this. And sometimes the plate will be, this is the main plate, and this is the secondary plate, because this plate is welded to this one. Or I can say this plate is the main plate, and this is the secondary plate. Okay. Now, I'm going to create three different conditions to show you how you can select the loose plates, connection plates, or the plate which is welded to the another object or the main plate. Okay, let me just take a part, and what I do is I use profile. Okay, it's not a part. I'm going to the template, and then let me just take the profile type equals to B. Say profile type B, which means it will select all the plate profiles. If you want to know, because there are only 8 or 9 profile types in Tekla, and if you just want to know it, you can go to the user assistance and type profile types. You can see that one. It will show U section, C sections, angle is L, and Z sections. So you can see all those profile types. So the plate profile type is B. And let me just, because when I type this one, it will select all the plates. Let me just add another row here. And then I change this one to material type. Okay, equals to steel, because the slab will also be considered as plate profile. So I want to exclude all the concrete parts. I want to select only the steel. That is the reason I'm using this row. And I'm adding another row here. This is again the template value. And the variable type is, the property is assembly dot supplement dot part weight. So this is the new variable, and it has been there for four versions. And just to show you, so you can see here, this is the variable assembly dot supplement underscore part underscore weight. So of course, if it is a loose plate, we know that main part and assembly weight are both are equal, right? So that's the reason we are using this variable. It is not available by default in the drop-down list. So what you need to do is you need to type this variable. And let me just go back to Tekla. And if I say equals to 0, so when I click apply, and this is the loose plate, and when I do the cross selection, sorry. Oh, okay. I need to add another row here, because the loose plate, the primary part is equal to 1. So when I add another row, this is part, and primary part equals to 1. So what exactly it means? It will select only the primary parts. 0, which means that's a secondary part. So okay, you can see it is selecting only the loose plate. And so these are, this is very, very important. If I change this one to does not equal to, that means it will select the main plates. What I'm saying is that you can see this plate, and this is the secondary plate which is welded to this one. So once I click apply, and then when I do the cross selection, you can see it is selecting the main part. This plate is the main part. And if I want to select the connection plate, of course, I don't have to use this assembly supplement part weight. This is only to differentiate between the main plate and the loose plate. But if you want to select all the connection plates, then what I would do is, let me just delete this row, and this primary part equals to 0. And once I click apply, and then when I do the cross selection, you can see it is selecting only the plates which are welded to other objects. So it's quite common that we work with existing building, or sometimes we don't want to pick any objects, or we don't want to create drawings for certain objects because those may be bought out items. In that case, in every filter options, I use this class. I mean, part class, okay, does not equal to, once again, I take equals one double question mark. Okay, it's does not equal to. So my understanding is that one double star double question mark, which means it will not select any object number classes 100 to 199. So if I don't want to create any drawing for any particular object, I try to keep those classes greater than 100 so that when I do the cross selections for creating the drawing, the system will not select those objects. So I use these conditions in most of the filters to exclude the parts rather than doing it manually. So this is clear. These three, selecting the loose plates and selecting the main plate and connection plates, and how to exclude the parts which you don't want to create the drawings. So any question regarding this? So I was quite surprised recently. One of the very experienced detailer was not aware of this new function. So I thought, let me just share it with you. See, every time when we create the filter options, most of the times what we do is we want to use this filter options maybe in other scenarios or maybe in the next project. So what we do is we save it and copy the file to our form folder. So I'm going to save this one. So when I say, let me type plate, I can say this is welded plate. I click save. Now, when I go to my view filter, I don't see this filter option there, right? So what I need to do is I just have to create the same conditions for view filter for drawing because I use it for drawing to customize my settings. So for every new filter, I need to create this one. But what we can do is you see these two arrow marks at the right top. Just click this one. It will give you more options for you. So you can select the view filter and you can select all drawing types and you can also select the object organizer. So what happens is that when I click save as once, because of these boxes are on, the system will automatically save this condition for view and for all drawing types. So once I click save as, and then I just click close this one. Okay, let me just refresh. And then when I open the view filter, you can see this welded plate here and click. Yeah, you can see all the plates because of this condition I changed to and you can see only the plates here. So this is a very good option. So always use this one. Okay, let me just go back. I will be moving on to the next topic, but before that, do you have any question regarding filters? Let me just go to the next one, which is organizer. How many of you are using this organizer? I can see, are you all using this one or is it something new to you? Because this is such a very powerful tool. Unfortunately, not many people are using it. This tool has been there since 2021. Sorry, 2021, 2016, 2017. For checking purposes, I would highly recommend you to start using this organizer. So when you click on the manage an organizer, it will open this one and click this synchronize. It reads all the live objects from the model. If you make any changes and click synchronize, this will get you all the latest update from the model. I'll go through the few options quickly. When I click on the steel, you can see it will show the report because this is actually the templates. And when I click on maybe profile, so let me just remove this and change the report format. And you can see this shows all the profile list here. So this is for the concrete. So it shows all the concrete information here. And these are all the standard information. Okay, before I just show you how to add new filters, let me take the profile ones here. I'm taking this default report, and these options, it will actually group them. Once you click here, it will create a box here, and you can drag and drop any of these fields. For example, let me just take the material. It will automatically group them. And what you can do is you can also change the color code for checking purposes. This material 250 will be in a different color, 300 will be in a different color. So that's what exactly it happens. When you go to these three lines and click this color set by default and click default, can you see the color differences here? It's all based on this material. You can see here, actually, I'm just using this as a assembly level. That's the reason it shows, it's reading the main part and then it shows the different colors. But I will show you how you can change this option to part level. Okay, let me just take names here. If I drag the name, and it will automatically change everything. And then again, I can go to the color set by default and click default. It will change the color codes. So this will be very easy for checking. For example, if this column is different, obviously this color will be different so that you know, okay, there is something wrong here. Then you can go ahead and change this one. And the next one is if you want to combine the identical rows, click this one. It will automatically combine the identical rows. You can see there are 47 of 40 of them, the quantity 20, 20, and 2, 5, 6. So this will automatically combine the identical rows. And the next one is if you want to export, yes, of course, you can export this one. Before export, I'll come back to this because I just want to show you a few more things before I do this export. Now, as I said, these are all the default ones, and you can also create your own set of conditions here. When I click the plus sign, this is creating a new category. Can you see this? And then right click on it and go to the properties and change this one to, I'm giving a name here, nothing else. Category, it's a name. And come to this model list. You have two options here. Either you want to select from the Tekla structure or from the reference models. So I select the Tekla structure models and click the object group, and it shows all the filter options here for the organizer. So I want to pick only the steel parts, don't want to use anything else. So I'm selecting this organizer steel. If you want to create your own conditions, you click the object group, and here you can see, and you can create a condition and give a name and save it and it's already, okay, you can see the organizer is on here. So if I go and choose any one of them, you can see here, the organizer box is on. So make sure whenever you create a new filter, this box is on so that it will be visible in the organizer when you click this option here. And the next one is come to this categories. And when you click on the first box, this is going to display the attributes in the existing templates. When I say existing templates, you can see the assembly list, CAP, concrete, default, and all these, it is reading it from this existing templates. Either you can add from the existing template. If it is not available, for example, I don't have the finish here. So what you can do is you can click on the next box and type finish. The system will automatically show attribute with finish. So you can click on it. So there you can see. This is how you can add subcategories. Let me just go here and select, you can select name from any one of this template. It shows name, assembly name, cast unit, nut name, and main part. If it does not find the name, then it will go and check the assembly name. Then it will go and check the cast unit name. This hierarchy, which is very, very important. Let me just, I don't need bolt and nut name. And then I drag and drop this main part name here. And the default report should be not assembly list. I'll make it default. And if I select this include the highest assembly level, then it will show only the main part names. I select the highest assembly level in the model and click modify and click OK. So here you can see it shows the list of all the names. Let me go to the properties and then tick off this so that it will show the part level, not the assembly level. Can you see here? It shows the list of all the names in the model. And I can select any, if I click here, this is going to show the report of the selected objects. And for example, I'm selecting the purlins and rafters, then it shows the purlins both rafter here. You can see these ones. And now, for example, I'll create a group here, drag the profile, and then I'm going to create an Excel report. You can see this box here. Once you click export, it gives you an option here. Either you want to use the default template, or you can use the empty template, or you can also create your own template. So let me just select this one, click export. So you can see that Excel report here. You can create reports with just a click of a button. Let me just close this. Again, I'll come back to this one. If you want to select any particular object, for example, I'm selecting the truss, and you see there is an option here, no highlight or selection in the model. Change this option to select objects so that when you click on any one of them, it will directly highlight the objects in the model. And let me just show you one more thing. This is the first category. It shows by names. I can also add part, position, or any other attribute as a subcategory to this. How? Again, I'll go to the properties, and you can see this is the first category. Then I'll go to the next one, and then I add the part number here. So this is the next subcategory, and click modify, and then click OK. So now you can see. So it shows the part position number for each object name here. So this as actually the organizer, it's a very vast subject. I'm just covering certain things that you need it on a daily basis. So when you start using it, you would understand how much it is going to be beneficial for you. And second thing is how much time it's going to save you. So mainly for the checking purposes, I don't use the object representation. Started using this organizer, I can see how much it is actually helping me to save time and resources. If you want to add any additional field to this existing report, you can go to the settings here. When you click the open settings, what I would do is I'll add a new column here. And you can see this this has added a new column. I can go and search for any attribute. I need finish. I drag and drop it here. And let me change the name. And then you can drag and drop it wherever you want. You can change this. And once you click modify and close this, you can see the finish column here. So this is how you can add any new attribute to the existing template. But please remember one thing. So whatever you do it is going to save the file in the model folder. This is the project organizer. So you can see here, it will automatically update this one. And what you can do is you can copy this folder to your form folder. So next time when you start a new project, the system will automatically read the new settings. And I think, unfortunately, it won't read the settings in the existing project or any working project. Another thing is that you cannot close this one. Even when you close it, it will remain open until you close this model. So there is no point of trying to close this one. You can minimize and keep it on your screen. If you're doing project high-rise building, you also have an option. You can see here project and site and building. You can define the boundary for your project, and then you can define the sections, and you can define the floor level. So this is the next level of using this organizer. Especially the engineers, when you send the report with all this information, they love it. And it's much more to explore. And one single tip, if you're already using this one, then what you need to do is you have to include right to the model for reporting, so that when you export the model into IFC, this section levels and floor levels will also be included in that. So you just have to click this one. I'll be moving on to the next topic. This is again a very common question that I happen to receive from my clients. Sometimes the screen might be hidden. When you use the two monitors and suddenly you switch off one monitors and you try to open something like a selection filter or any other screen, it may not be visible to your screen. So because it was on the second screen when you are using the two monitors, and how you can bring it back, or sometimes it may be hidden. This is again a quite common issue that I have received emails from the clients. So in that case, for example, it is hidden, actually I moved it to the second screen. Then what I do is I just click on it and you type Alt space, and then press letter M to lock it. You can see your cursor. You can see the left arrow, top arrow, and right arrow on your keyboard. So you can just press that key. The system will automatically move the screen, or you can go to the Google and then search how to bring the hidden windows back to your screen. Let me just go through the other two main warehouse tools. I don't know if you're using the select similar tools. You don't have to create a filter options to select any particular object, but this tool, it's quite handy. I have recommended this one to many people and they actually love it. You can select the objects, you can select the rebar, you can select assemblies, bolts, and weld components and reference object. You can use any one of them. For example, let me just tick off all these options and I'm going to keep only the name. I click on any one of them, and then you can say select here. It will select all the similar objects in the model. For example, let me just take Perlin here. And then when I click select, it will select all the similar objects. So you can also use the part position number. So let me just click on any one of them and then click select. So there is only one M32. There is no other objects. Right? So I would highly recommend you to download this tool and install on your system. And it shows only the very minimum here. But if you want to add anything, you can click here. This will automatically show all the attributes, but I do have some issues with my system. That is the reason it is not showing it. Let me just type top underscore level. You don't have to type it. The system will automatically show. And then once you press here, this will automatically add the attribute name. Sorry, guys, you can test on your system, but unfortunately, it is not showing the list here. So it's very easy for you to add, search for it and click the plus sign to add this one. The other very important tool, what I generally use is this multi-report generator. So again, you can download. I will share the link with you. Then you can download it from the Zoom chat. So what happens is that, it actually replaces the out-of-box reports. So here it is. So I don't use these reports. Instead of creating the reports, I actually use this one. So because you can select the multiple reports. Sorry, I'm pressing the shift key. Can you see here? You can select the multiple reports and just a click of a button, the system will automatically create the report for all the selected. It will create all these selected reports. So you can also reorganize and you can also group them. For example, you can click a new group. Let me just type this as approval package. Okay. So what you can do is you can create a new package and then you can open the group, this one, and what are the reports you include in the approval package, you can drag and drop it there. Okay, suppose if I'm taking a PDF assembly list, let me just drag and drop it to this. And PDF bold summary, just drag and drop it this. You can see here. So this is how you can create your own package. I would highly recommend you to create one for approval and one for the construction package. So next time when you create, you just select with a single click, the system will automatically create all the selected reports. And I just want to show you one more thing. If I go to the reports here, you can see this ID part check. Let me change this option to on dialog, create from all. So this is going to create a report. You can see here, the advantage of this report, whenever I click on any line here, the system will automatically highlight that object. Can you see here? And if you want to zoom to any object, then what we do is we use, I'm taking a plate here so that I can show you. Yeah. When I press the Z key, which is zoom, and then click on it, it will zoom to that object. Can you see here? I click on this plate and pressing the Z key, it will automatically zoom to that object. If I press the F key, F for fit, and when I click here, it will actually hide all the other objects and fit work area only to that selected object. Let me just right click and fit work area. Again, I'm going to do it for tie beam, pressing the F key and click the tie beam here. Can you see? It will hide all the other objects, and then it will show, it will fit work area only to the selected objects. And how actually this particular report, it selects the object just because of this ID colon. What you need to do is, when you create a report, you need to have this identification number attribute. And then before that identification number, you need to add this as a text. Let me just show you. Here is the report. Can you see this? This is the identification number attribute, and this is the text I added before this. If you don't add this text, you cannot use that report for selecting objects in the model from the report. So this is very, very important. Okay, let me just close it. Okay, guys, I'm just open to any of your questions if you want to go through, maybe for another 5-10 minutes. So if anybody wants to have questions. Okay, so the question is how to give the assembly mark and part mark same. What we do is, when you go back to the advanced options, you can see this numbering here. You can see this use assembly number for. You need to type this as a main part here. You can read this information. Use, if you want the assembly and casted number should also be the same number. Okay. Can you see this? If you type main part, always assign the assembly or casted number to the main part of an assembly. Anil, this answers your question. And what you can do is you can copy this attribute to your INI file so that whenever you start a project, the system will automatically update this one. When I say INI file, if I go to the directory browser, so this is my INI file. So I'm talking about, I don't know which one you're using. And what I would do is I'll say set, and then I will type this variable as xs_use assembly number for here. And I say equal to main part. So this is the attribute. So once I type it and save it, next time when you start any new project, the system will automatically update this variable. So you don't have to do it in every project. It's not only for this variable, any variable that you want to change it to your settings, just copy that variable name and give the value in the INI file. I have launched another 3 courses on e-learning platform. That is mainly for enhancing your knowledge. If I go to my website, courses and training, these courses are from intermediate level to experienced. So one is that Beyond Basics, a professional guide to Tekla structures. And once you click register now, it will directly take you to that page. And I'm offering some discounts, high discounts. And you can see the topics that I'm covering it here. So these are the general topics: custom components, organizer, reports and templates, user-defined loading and filters. These are the topics that I'm covering it in this session. So these are very, very important. And so what I'm doing is that I'm just giving an offer to you. Like if you go and click enroll now, actually the course fee is $149. I have already discounted to $149. But for those who attend the webinar, I'm giving this option as if you type code 40 and click apply. So this is the final price. That's in Australian dollars, not in USD, because USD currency value is high. And this is the one. So you get access to the complete training lessons. And this will definitely will be a huge game changer for you. So because I'm covering the important topics for, that will be for intermediate to advanced users. So this one course which I'm doing it, and the second one also, if I go back to the training session, if you want to know how you can improve the Tekla configuration, this is already on Udemy. So you can click on this register now. It will take you to the Udemy and you can see the courses. I think this course fee will be around the $20, so that you can check the final price on Udemy. And this is the connection details. Again, if you want to get the overview of the contents, click on the image. You can see the overview of what I'm covering it in the training lessons, and click the course contents and you can see course details. You can also download. When you click register now, it will directly take you to that enrollment page. So you can use the same code 40, and you can register for the courses.